South Winn Warriors getting ready for week number 2 and a trip to Green on Friday night to take on North Butler. Head coach Jason Ohrt joining us, brought to you by Becker Hardware and Dave's Collision Shop. And coach, going back to week number 1, 15-14, loss to Starmont. Looking at the numbers from the game and looking at it from the outside, looking in, everything was even. You guys just fell a point short. Is it that simple of analysis looking back at last Friday night?
Yeah, in a way, I would agree with that. You know, we had some really costly penalties on third down while we were on offense. Ball starts, put us in third and long a couple times, and we had one series in particular where, we're 3rd and 2, we're trying to get a nice drive going, and get a pre-snap penalty followed by a fumble and then snap over the head of our punter, and just that 3-play sequence really hurt. But give our kids a lot of credit. We got the ball back and drove down the field again, and had another fumble on the 13-yard line going in. I really feel like, it was 1st and 10. Really feel like if we were able to at least get lined up for a field goal, Carson Streeter's is about as automatic from there as it gets. Just a few plays here and there, and the pre-snap penalties got to clean those up. And I really feel like the outcome would have been in our favor.
When it comes to pre-snap penalties, how do you go about addressing that to improve that moving forward?
Well, we work on in practice. We do our hard count, and we almost always draw the other team offside when we do it. And it just so happened that we drew ourselves offsides. And that's the way it goes sometimes. We just continue to build and continue to tell our kids to make sure they leave the huddle knowing exactly what we're doing and know the exact call. And we try to do our best job as coaches to emphasize, we're going on hard count in the huddle. And I think, Mike Wentold, our offensive coordinator, he does an outstanding job with it. And I know he was really disappointed and down on himself. But we've got to be able to hard count. We have to be able to do that. And so that's being addressed this week in practice.
And when it comes to ball security, how do you go about, from a coaching perspective, improving that aspect?
And I just continue to build consistency, repetition. They're all fundamental errors, taking your eye off the ball, things like that. I felt like every single situation that we put the ball on the ground, it's really not much of an excuse for it. We just didn't execute. It wasn't anything that they did or anything like that. We just mishandled it. And so we just kind of try to continue to build that repetition and practice, and just reemphasize, hey, sometimes when you get tired, it's the little things. Got to have that mental focus and understand what you got to do before the play.
Looking at some of the individual numbers from last Friday night, Kyle Kaboshik, a returning all-district kid for you. Good night seemingly on both sides of the ball with 81 yards rushing, and on the defensive side of the ball, 6.5 tackles, 6 solos, and 2 tackles for a loss. How has Kyle improved his game and taken it to another level this year?
He's a force to be reckoned with. We didn't give him the ball enough. 19 touches is like, well, that's a lot of touches. Not for him. Kyle's the kind of back that you want to give the ball 25, 30 times a game. And we need to address that. And we surely are this week, and get him ready to go, because he just gets stronger as the game gets going. Other people will get tired. He doesn't get tired. He's a really good wrestler. Really, really well trained, takes care of himself. He's a guy that we know, because we did last year, rely on him in the second half to get those big plays, get those 8 to 10 yard runs when the other team's tired. We ran 2 dives in a row, just straight gives to him late in the game, and he busted one for 13, and then the other one for about 8 or 9 consecutively. And it's like, okay, we just got to keep feeding this kid the ball.
And when you went to the air with Braden Todd and Carson Streeter, seemingly things were pretty efficient. Just looking at the stat sheet, what made your passing game click last week?
Well, it's our ability to move the chains in the run game. We are who we are, and we're going to run the flex bone. We're going to run some option. We're going to have the design runs, and we're going to try and suck safeties into the box. And once we do that, we're able to get one-on-ones with great talent like Carson Streeter and hit those opportunities. We'd like to get a couple other guys going a little bit. We're capable of doing that. It's just that, Carson, when Carson gets those opportunities, he's going to get the ball and make some good plays. And Braden's a pretty accurate passer.
And this week, you make the trip over to Green to take on North Butler. It was a close competitive game last year. You fell just a little short. Both you guys scored 14 points in week number one, but the only difference is you lost by one and they won by one score. What do you expect on Friday night?
Another tough football game on the road. It's our first district game. They've got a lot of returners. They're going to want to try and run the ball, but they also spread you out. They've got their quarterback last year really kind of caught us off guard. As a sophomore, we're going to be more prepared for him this year. He's a very dangerous threat, especially when he's in the shotgun and he's able to break the pocket. He can extend plays really well. Kind of reminds me of some kids that we've seen in district last year too as well, like in North Tama. They got a good quarterback there as well. And so we're kind of looking back at some of the things we did against him late in the season last year to kind of help us out getting prepared for North Butler's quarterback this coming week.
All right, Coach. Hopefully you can find your winning ways this week. Keep you guys healthy. We wish you best of luck.
Thank you, Darren.
Head coach Jason Ohrt for the South Winn Warriors there at North Butler Friday night. It's been brought to you by Dave's Collision Shop and Becker Hardware.